My name is Jamie, and I am your channel host for today and every day. But today I wanted to talk about a common misconception that I had growing up as a Christian, which was that I had to like everybody. And so growing up in the church, I was, taught you have to love everybody, you have to be kind to everyone. And I think that is very true, but then in my mind, it got misconstrued as I have to be friends with every single person. I have to be best friends with them. I have to share my heart to everyone and anyone, right? I don't know kind of where I got that impression, but I think it was just like in my mind, I guess I wasn't allowed to not like anybody because I thought that's what love meant. And honestly, now that I'm a little more grown up and I understand kind of more of the Bible more, that is definitely not the case. In the Bible, it talks about how we should love our neighbors as ourselves. There's no greater love than when a brother lays down his life for another. And I wanted to read something from 1 Corinthians 13, which talks about love. And it's an amazing, amazing chapter. But the verses that I'm going to read are 1 Corinthians 13, verse 4 to 8. So it says, "Love endures with patience and serenity. Love is kind and thoughtful, and is not jealous or envious. Love does not brag, it is not proud or arrogant. It is not rude, it is not self-seeking. It is not provoked, nor overly sensitive and easily angered. It does not take into account a wrong endured. It does not rejoice at injustice, but rejoices with the truth, when right and truth prevail. Love bears all things, regardless of what comes, believes all things, looking for the best in each other, hopes all things, remaining steadfast during difficult times, and endures all things without weakening. Love never fails, it never fades nor ends. But as for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for the gift of special knowledge, it will pass away." And so here it talks about what love is, right? It is patient, it is kind, it is serene, it is thoughtful, it is not jealous or envious. But never does it say it is loving every single person or liking every single person despite how different you are. And I want to explain that a little bit, right? I believe God created all of us differently. We all have different hopes, different dreams, different fears, different quirks about ourselves, different things that we enjoy. And we're all different because God has made us uniquely so. And that's an amazing thing. But with that said, that doesn't mean that you're going to click with everyone. And that is okay. In the Bible, it talks about how we're all members of each other. And if we're Christians, we're one body, right? And I think one way that I like to think about it is, let's say you're an arm, right? And someone else is a hand. I think naturally, right? The arm and the hand, they go hand in hand. I didn't even think about that pun, but anyway, so they go hand in hand, and it's easy. It's easy for them to connect. They do the same things, or literally next to each other, but if you're a foot in the body and then you're an eye in the body, it's you guys aren't physically connected, or you guys are physically connected, but it's not as close to each other, proximity wise. And so it's I don't know, that analogy made more sense in my brain, but it's you don't have to like the other body for you guys to love each other and appreciate that the body functions and it works, right? I'm sure my foot appreciates my eye and my eye appreciates my foot a lot, but it's they're not always best friends. Okay, anyways, let's just skip the body analogy and just kind of go back into practical human beings. I have a lot of friends whom I love dearly and they're so amazing, but I don't hang out with them every single day. And yeah, and there are people that I hang out with, like, who like I don't click with that well, but I feel like I hang out with them because God is like, this is a relationship I want you to cultivate and I want you to love them. And so, like, I do think that there are relationships where you guys do have to work a little bit harder to get past just similar hobbies, and really just know that your relationship is built on the foundation of Jesus, and like share your love for Jesus. And I think that will have and carry a really long lasting friendship. But also, I don't think that you should force yourself to be friends with someone who is completely different than you, someone who you may not like or you just click with. And I think that's totally okay. Like, unless God tells you, like, you have to be friends, or not have, he never makes us do anything, but like, unless God suggests or puts it on your heart, oh, like, try reaching out to that person. I don't think it's in our, I don't think it's in our shoulds or have tos when it comes down to making friends with people who are really different than us. Like, if anything, I feel like if you force yourself to be friends with a certain person because you think it's loving, or you think that like you have to, like, it's just gonna feel forced, and the other person's gonna feel it and they're gonna know it, and then it's not gonna be genuine. And it's like, then at the end of the day, it's like, what is your friendship built on? And if it is really a chore for you to go and hang out with them, then it's not fun. Like, I don't want to be hanging out with people who I think I'm supposed to be friends with just because I'm Christian and they're Christian, or maybe they're not even Christian. But it's like, I don't want to force myself to be friends with someone that I don't want to be friends with, because at the end of the day, that's not love. That's just, I don't even know what you would call that. That's just being like forcing yourself to do things you don't want to, and not loving yourself, if anything. Yeah, I think there were a lot of friendships in the past where I felt like, oh, I should be friends with this person just because I'm Christian and they're Christian, or like, I thought that's what love meant, is that I have to be friends with everybody. But in reality, like, that's not the case. Like, and I just wish that I had known, like, don't feel bad that you're not friends with everybody and like anybody, because your time is valuable, and like, you don't have time in the world, like, practically, to be friends with every single Christian or everybody you meet, because that detracts and like detracts time away from the people that God does want you to spend time with. And so then the question of like, okay, like, how do I know if I'm supposed to be spending time with this person, even though, we might not click or like have similar hobbies? I think one is just ask God, right? Like, okay, God, is this person supposed to be in my life? And if so, how much are they supposed to be in my life? Like, do I meet with them once a week? Do we talk about certain things? Do we not talk about certain things? And then second of all, just kind of see, like, do they have qualities that you like? Like, are they honest? Are they loyal? Are they funny? Are they adventurous? Like, what do you like about them? Like, just be honest to yourself. Like, what do you like about them? What do you dislike about them? Like, could you see yourself having a friendship with them? If it's someone that I think, like, God is like, yeah, like, it's good for you to be friends, and you like them, like, go ahead, pursue that friendship relationship and see where it goes. But if God's not like, you have to be friends with them, and then, or if God doesn't suggest that you have to be friends with them, and you find out you don't have a lot in common, your conversations are really dull, you don't really enjoy being with them, like, that's okay. Like, just, it's okay. You guys don't have to be friends, and that's perfectly normal, because then they'll find friends where they click with, and they have similar hobbies and interests, and their friendship is gonna bloom, right? Like, if you, at least for me, right, like, I realized that if I just always kept forcing a friendship when it was just so hard and unfulfilling, I would just be so tired by the end of the day. And also, not only does it keep me from making friends I'm supposed to make friends with, but it also keeps them from spending time with people that they should be spending time with. And so, yeah, I just kind of wanted to clear up that misconception. I know I've struggled with it, but yeah, like you can love everybody and want the best for them, and yet you don't have to hang out with them every single week or catch up with them. You don't have to hang out. And even, you know, if they reach out and they like, and you just feel like it's not a relationship you want to pursue, and it's not a relationship God thinks you should pursue, and they reach out, like, I feel like it's really important, and it's a lot better for you to just say, hey, no, I don't have time, or like just say, hey, like when I have time, or actually not even when you have time, but it's like, if I have time, like I'll reach back out to you. Or just say, hey, I'm busy, you know, and hopefully, I don't know, it's kind of hard to say, right? Like, how do you break that to them? But it's like, you know, do it gently. And then I think if you tell them, I like, honestly, like, hey, I feel like I just have a lot of people in my life right now and I don't have time to hang out, and just be completely clear and honest, I think that'll serve you and them in the long run for the better. Like, I remember I met this one girl, we like somehow got connected on Facebook, and then we ended up getting coffee together, and I just realized, like, we were talking and I was actually getting kind of bored as we were talking, because she was just saying things that I wasn't really connecting with. And she reached out and said, hey, like, you know, I would love if we could do journaling together or something. And I just remember telling her, you know, like, I like appreciate that we were able to get together, but I think I just have a lot of people in my life already that I feel like are keeping me accountable and that I do creative stuff with. And so I don't think I'll have time for what you want to do. And I think there was a little bit of pushback, but I just stood firm and was like, yeah, I'm sorry, but I just don't have time. And I think that's completely okay, because you have to love yourself at the end of the day and say, no, I'm not comfortable with this, or no, I frankly don't really want to have that close of a relationship with you, because it feels like a lot of work. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say today. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on if you've ever felt this way, like you had to be friends with someone just because that was like the Christian thing to do, or because you thought that was loving, and kind of what that was like for you. And like when you realized, oh, like, just kidding, like, I kind of don't want to be friends with you, or like, I don't want to keep hanging out with you. Yeah, I would love to hear just those experiences, because it's like not something that's talked about in the church at all. So it's helpful. It's helpful when I hear that from other people as well. So yeah, love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.